Many blessings and blessed full moon. So I am Rebecca and this is my full moon video for Pillars of the Moon. So welcome everyone. I first just want to start by saying thank you to all of my wonderful new subscribers on YouTube and also followers on Instagram. It's so wonderful. It's been such a beautiful, powerful year for me. I've really started to share more of this 13 star sign astrology wisdom that's coming through. And it's so exciting, to really feel that blossoming and to feel it being received as well. It's so wonderful. So thank you. I really, really am grateful for all of you who are tuning in. So I hope that you've all had a wonderful festive season. It can definitely be quite triggering this time of year with like all of the family coming together, but with the latest lockdown things that might not have been possible, so I just wanted to send you all my love and virtual hugs for if those of you who are on your own. I'm blessed with my beautiful family, my little boy who's 18 months old and my partner. So yeah, it's been beautiful. Well, let's jump into the chart anyway. So let's just have a little look. I'm going to share the screen with you all. So here we go. So in the lifetime sky in 13 star sign astrology, hopefully you can all see that. The full moon will be in the constellation or the stars of Gemini. So Gemini, who is Gemini? Gemini is the twins, and it's at 8 degrees as well. So in the 8th house, it's like, oh, what is going on here? And the MC is at 8 degrees. And also, oh my God, look, your Venus is at 8 degrees. Wow. So what is this about, So Gemini to me is more than just about communication and our voice and expressing ourselves and thinking and mental stuff. So Gemini to me is sacred union. It's the yin and the yang. It's above and below. It's the twins. It's the shadow and the light. And so to me, this also represents the twins is like the masculine and the feminine. And I really feel like embodied in this constellation is the wisdom of Mary and Yeshua, or, even earlier than that, it's the union consciousness. That's what I feel for the Gemini energy. And so the number 8 is the number of infinity, but it's also the symbol of union because it's the two coming together, and it kind of looks like a Vesica Pisces, that point in the middle where they join. And there's this beautiful image that I found. I'm just going to share that screen with you now to really what's the word, to explain what I'm meaning about Gemini and what it is to me, what they are to me. And so this is an image by Shadow Lee, I think, on Fine Art America. I found this image. And so, it's the two coming together as one. And this, if you look at the two heads, this is the 8. And this is the union, and this is Gemini, and this is the Vesica Pisces, and this part in the middle, this is like the galactic center looks like this shape, it's the yoni or the womb. And so it also looks like the Pisces, symbol of the fish. So I love the symbology of the constellations and delving deeper into what it means for me. And wow, look, underneath here you've got all this nature and beauty and things. So yeah, so this image really says it all for me in regards to this full moon. But there's some interesting aspects that may be coming up for us. So I'm going to leave this image here just because it is so powerful and beautiful. you know, so with this in mind, you know, this is kind of the template of Gemini at its best. You know, like what I experienced with my partner, it's like we've created this really safe container of love and trust, you know, and so in that space, it's like all of our shadows feel like, okay, well, I'm going to come out now. It's like I've got this safe container, I'm just going to you know. And so this full moon, you know, being in Gemini, it can be a lot about communication and our voice and wanting to express ourselves. And it may be, you know, because the moon is in square to Mercury. Mercury is ruler of Gemini. And so with the moon in square to Mercury, it could be very difficult, challenging conversations. Sorry, the moon is opposite Mercury. It's in square to Chiron. Chiron is our wounded healer. So the moon opposite Mercury at the full moon, it's like wanting us to communicate, and it's difficult, and it might be like, the sun is in Sagittarius, which is a fire sign, so it's like lots of hot air and like, you know, because a lot of where we're communicating from is probably from our deepest fears or our deepest wounds, you know, because of this square to Chiron. And so Chiron is asking us to address this stuff. And I received 2 big parcels on Christmas Eve from my parents because they're moving house soon, hopefully. And I had to sort through all of this stuff from like years and years ago, like old love letters, old photos, like little flowers that I'd been given, and whew, you know, it's really big, you know, when that stuff arrives on your doorstep and you have to look through it. It's like, okay, you know, I don't have space for all of that in my house. You know, I don't want that box to sit there forever, so I have to look at it. And so yesterday I had this experience, and this could be what this full moon is like symbolizing for us. It's like digging through our old stuff and we'll find gold within, you know, we'll find the gems within and the things that we really want to keep. And then we'll find a lot of junk as well that we've been carrying for our whole life, maybe. And we may even tap into those deepest wounds and those deepest fears from looking at those parts of ourselves. And so, you know, this time of year for us in the Northern Hemisphere, we are in the time of the most dark. You know, it's the winter. We've just passed the winter solstice. And so the nights are really long. It's really dark. It's cold. It's wet. We're being invited to come into our feelings, into the dark, into the underworld, to sift through the mud and the old photos and letters and things, and to find the treasure. You know, what do I want to carry forward with me, and what do I want to leave, and how do I leave that? So part of the process for me in going through all of my stuff yesterday was I found some old photos of me when I was born and I was in an incubator. So the child in me, the baby in me, you know, as soon as I saw these images, I just started crying and crying and crying and crying and crying. And I really had to just do that, you know, release those feelings and not judge them and just be with that part of myself, you know, the baby and that original blueprint. You know, to be in the incubator is that ultimate separation, you know, after I've been in the womb. You know, but ultimately my soul has chosen that beginning, you know, so my soul has chosen to have ultimate separation after complete separation, so that in this lifetime, you know, I can come to an understanding and a deep love for that. And so what I'm realizing with my Pisces sun and Jupiter in the North Node, it's like Pisces is ultimate consciousness. It's everything. It is the child in the womb. It's connected to everything. And so, you know, it's a big part of my purpose to remember that and to rediscover that. So, you know, in this tears and crying and releasing, you know, I found this oh yes, this is my deepest wound, separation, abandonment, and the grief that came with that, you know. And so it's never easy to be with those feelings, and we don't want to. You know, I didn't want to go through the box. I had a feeling that it would bring up lots for me. But then I had, you know, I sorted things into piles of what I really wanted to keep and what I didn't, and what needed to be moved on. And now I have a really small box with really special things that I, you know, really feel are important for me to keep. Um, and then I had a big fire ceremony. So the sun being in Sagittarius, this is a fire sign, you know, and Uranus is in Aries, that's a fire sign as well. So it's like, let's bring in the fire, fire to die, fire to be reborn, and really invoke the fire. It's the masculine as like that healing, transformational power. It's our ally, it's the spirit of fire. And so yeah, I had a big ceremony for that yesterday, releasing all of that as a big box of things. I feel so much better today. I feel like something massive has shifted. I also feel really tender as well, like I've been to my deepest wounded self, and it's not very comfortable. But I then did a meditation as well last night, where I went down the Ophiuchus tail, down into the underworld cave, met with my placenta down there, and then went through the cosmic portal gateway in the cave of the earth. And I swam with the whales to go to my soul family, you know, my star family. And what I met there was actually Poseidon, or the Lord of the Underworld. There's a Nibbala called the Swan Nibbala, and it looks like castles in the sky. So in my visualization, I went there, and I spoke to the Sky Father, or the Sea Father, you know, as above, so below. So he looked kind of like Poseidon, with this big grey beard and a trident. And he said, "You can leave those parts of you with me. You don't need to carry them anymore." So I handed over the baby, you know, the little me, you know, who was premature, this tiny little baby. I gave them to him, and I also gave him my teenage self as well, because a lot of my wounds were around that area, my teenage years. And it was like leaving them in the heart of the stars, the heart of my family. And he said, "If ever you want to connect, just put your hands on your heart, we're all here." And it was such a beautiful, beautiful experience. I just wanted to share it all with you. And so this time of year is about these kinds of experiences. You know, the Siberian shamans would always do the vision quest with the mushrooms at this time. And they would go off into the other realms, into the star realms, to meet with their ancestors there, to get wisdom, to gain knowledge, and, you know, and then come back to the family in the hut, or or wherever they were in the teepee, and say, "Wow, this is what I've received. These are the gifts to share with you at this time of darkness." This is where Christmas comes from. You know, it's like that, because the mushrooms that they would take was the fly agarics, and they're red and white. So I'm wearing red and white today. I've been wearing a lot of red and white at the minute because I really want to honor this time of year and the Siberian shamans and the vision questing into the magical star realms. And, you know, when we really dive into this descent and into the underworld and into the stars, and we spend time this time of year really reflecting and resting and healing and listening, not so much of the socializing and all of those kind of things, but just being more still, being in the nest, in the hearth, and allowing the wisdom to come. You know, that's our inner elder, that's our inner winter. And, you know, inviting those in ourselves, you know, my inner grandfather and my inner grandmother, and kind of calling them forth. What have they got to share with me, and what is the wisdom of those beautiful archetypes? Then, from this place of quiet, deaf, empty winter, becomes the rebirth that comes in springtime. This is why I work with the Celtic Wheel of the Year and the seasonal wheel, as well as the stars, because I feel like they work together. It's the stars and the earth, they work together, and so to know where we're at seasonally and to know what's happening in the stars, it brings great wholeness and wisdom to us that allows us to evolve and to heal. So yeah, that's why I do what I do. So for those of you who are in the Southern Hemisphere, you are in the most light, so you are in the time of the most masculine, some might say the sun. It's like the most light, most hours of sunlight. And so you are about to, your days are getting slightly shorter each day now, and ours are getting slightly longer here in the Northern Hemisphere. But I feel like what this Gemini, the archetype of Gemini, is teaching us is about, there is light and there is dark in everything, and even the light in the yin and the yang symbol has a tiny bit of the dark, and the dark has a tiny bit of the light. And so that's how we are now, and if you think of the earth, it's like half of the earth is in dark and half of the earth is in light. But now we've still got that tiny bit of light here in the north, and you've got that tiny bit of dark in the south, and then it starts to shift and move over, and then a whole year, 6 months from now, we'll be on the opposite side, and we'll be in the most light and you'll be in the most dark. And so Gemini, I feel, is teaching us about this, about shadows, about yin and yang and balance, and coming into harmony, with our shadow selves, our alter ego, and creating a safe container for these parts of ourselves, our shadow beings, to come out. The wounded self that's been shamed or repressed, or that we really have said, no, I can't be that, so you go over there in the underworld. But they are lurking there. And so this time can be exceptionally healing to really look at those elements within ourselves and to bring really deep, deep healing. And so Venus is in Ophiuchus at the moment, and on the full moon she will be conjunct the South Node. I'm just going to share the chart wheel again for you. Hi! Yes, so the South Node in the Ophiuchus next to Venus, it's like the past and the karma of our relationships, of our hearts, of our values, so Venus is coming into alignment with the South Node. So maybe there'll be like a final letting go of these past relationships, of these old wounds, of the family karma of the past, so this could be a really healing time to do ceremony, like a letting go fire ceremony, to burn ritually, ceremonially, those parts of ourselves that we're ready to release and let go of. It's like carrying this huge rucksack around everywhere. It's like, we don't need to, we can be discerning. Okay, what do I need to carry? What do I want to carry? What are the gifts of this? And what is ready to be shed? And this is a time for this. It's definitely a time for this. So, yeah. What else have we got going on? I'm just going to come out of the chart wheel now because I just want to just share a little bit about the king, the returning of the light. So for us in the Northern Hemisphere, we are returning to the light. And so this time of year, it can be really like an upsurging for the masculine. And so the masculine Mars, planet Mars, has been in Pisces since I think last, was it April? And so he's about to go into his home sign of Aries, which will be in January. I think I wrote down the date. Hold on. 4th of January. So it's like the uprising of the king. He's coming home. He's coming home to his home sign of Aries. And he's like, I've been through the dark. I've been swimming in the waters. Black moon Lilith was there. I faced my fears. Oh, and now he's like, right, I'm ready. I'm ready. What needs to be done? And it's about action. It's about King Arthur. It's about Jesus. It's that beautiful masculine energy that is what we need for the earth right now. It's like we need our kings to come back. So that's a really powerful thing to say, but when we get to the 20th of January, Mars is going to be meeting with Uranus in Aries. And so this is going to be a real big time of change, of awakening, of the masculine kind of uprising, but in a different way, than what it's been before. And we may find like there can be chaos, upheaval, change. Uranus can bring this energy, but also all that comes with Uranus is always for the highest good. It's for our evolution, higher consciousness. That's what Uranus symbolizes. So Mars meeting with Uranus, it's like in Aries, also with Black Moon Lilith and the moon as well. It's like they're all coming out of the water and coming to Uranus, and it's going to be, who knows what it's going to be, but it's going to be really big. The end of January is going to be massive. So I would advise to take the next few weeks, doing ceremony with ourselves, with tuning into our wounds and our traumas and things that have happened to us throughout our life, and saying, okay, what am I ready to let go of now? What am I going to release? And release it into the fire. Sagittarius is a fire sign. And then we can come to this January, this new fiery energy of Mars and Aries, and this masculine driving force, with such purpose and clarity, and vision, And then when the sun moves into Capricorn, that's going to be, that Capricorn to me is the father energy, the sky father energy. And so I think that's in January sometime. I'll have to check the dates. But it's like this, these next few months are really about the masculine and the father coming into maturity. And also the Mars energy is like the warrior energy. It's about everything coming into harmony and union and working together, to create change, to shift things, to say no when things are not working, and to set boundaries, and to be strong and have courage. I've also been tuning into Sagittarius, because the sun is in Sagittarius at the moment. And so Sagittarius to me is the archer, right? But it's also Artemis, Diana, the protector of mother and children. She is where the galactic center, or the yoni, is, the womb. So she is the archer to me, and she was a twin. Her twin brother, Apollo, Artemis and Apollo, so this full moon being in the twins, it really is this awakening of the twin energy, and them working together, the masculine and the feminine working together in union. And this is what this feels like to me at the moment, what this time is. So I'm just going to share this image again one more time before I wrap it up. Look at that. And look what they're holding. It's the earth. This is for the earth. This is for our children and our children's children, and working together. But, before we can build. You know, we have to deal with all the rotten wood and things that are broken down. You know, there's a whole process in new life, and death is the beginning of that. You know, and so it feels like we are working together to restore that which was broken, and that's inside ourselves. You know, we have to work with ourselves. We can't change anybody else. We can only change ourselves. And so tending to those parts that were broken, calling them home, and remembering that, you know, it's okay to have those feelings and to really acknowledge them and witness them, but also bring them home to our heart. So may this full moon in Gemini bring great healing for our deepest wounds and triggers, and our, you know, bring those final closures to those old relationships that have been lingering, and the family karma and traumas, so that we can really live in our relationships in love and move on from the wounds of the past. And I bring you many blessings on this full moon, and I so look forward to seeing you in 2 weeks for Big Sky Spirit Moon, which is the moon, the new moon for the father, which is Capricorn. So yeah, I'll see you in 2 weeks. And yeah, thank you again, everybody who's been subscribing. And yes, I will see you soon. All right, lots of love, darlings.